Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, I missed Crappy Mondays. I was so under the weather. I think for the first time in a very long time, I didn't actually get a chance to do any content yesterday at all. I've been very kind of lackluster with that. I'm not really. I'm not going to be doing Crossfire podcast anymore either. I don't think I'm going to be doing Xbox Nation anymore either. I don't really have it in me. I guess I don't know. Maybe things will change down the line, but we're still going to do M&C on Sundays. The only difference is, we just kind of, for me personally, this has been something that's been going on for a little bit. It's like the landscape of YouTube is changing, and it's just one of those things, like it happens. It's not really anybody's fault or anything like that. For me personally, it's been kind of a lot of changing over the years. You know what I mean? And aside from getting burnt out or whatever, it's just one of those things where, it's just been getting a little bit more and more difficult, and like I said, YouTube is doing a lot of changes as well, like with their terms of services and stuff like that. It's been a little bit difficult to sort of keep up with that, and not being able to do the videos kind of the way I want to do them, and kind of say the things that I want to say in them, and without getting in trouble and things like that. So it is a little bit disheartening or whatever. What's up, Enrico Kitchen? Nice to see you. Yeah, no, Crossfire's still going to be going 9 lives. I'm not going to be doing mine anymore. I think Death Stranding is pretty good. I don't have enough time in it to really kind of comment as if I think it's like the game of the year or anything like that. Yeah, Eddie, I mean, listen, like there's this new terms of services that are coming in on December that I think is going to really kind of ruin it for a lot of people. So, we'll see how it goes. My stuff seems like it never goes out. Nobody gets notifications for my stuff, or rarely do. I don't, right? Like I have a separate account on my phone that's subscribed, has the bell rung and all that stuff, and I don't get notifications half the time. So for my own channel. So, it's just one of those things. Not to take into account, I'm not oblivious that I built up my channel doing pro Xbox stuff, and when that kind of turned the opposite direction, obviously people weren't going to be happy, and so it was almost like starting over, which I'm fine with. But it's like nobody gets sent notifications that YouTube doesn't promote my videos, they aren't recommended. It's just kind of a big pain in the butt, and it's not like it's all about views, because I started from nothing. I don't mind starting over. It's just the fact that they really limit what you can do. So if you guys, not only that, but what happened to me the other day, like there's a difference between like a copyright strike and like a content thing, where like there's these fly by night things, and they'll go by and they'll try and find videos with views on them and claim that they're theirs, right? And it's a hassle. You can challenge them, right? And I do sometimes. But this one the other day, it was like, I forget what it was for, maybe Until Dawn or something. It was my own footage, it's my own stuff. There's no music in it besides my usual free music, and they were trying to claim that it's theirs or whatever. So it's like they aren't, you know what I mean? It's because they want to get paid for that or whatever, and it's like it's not even worth it for me to fight on a video that's not getting any more views, so just delete the videos or whatever. But it's just a shame that there's so little protection or so little anything for some of the content creators. I don't know. I felt kind of disrespected by some of the stuff that YouTube, you know, this stuff is going to be better. So, yeah, I sound a little bit better. Man, yesterday I felt like I was dying. Obviously, I'm not 100% yet. As you guys join in, please hit the like button and share it out and all that kind of stuff. I would definitely appreciate it. So, I wanted to talk about something a little bit interesting, and I'm going to try not to be as down on it as some of you guys might think. And that would be the, the whole, Inside Xbox XO type thing, okay? So Inside Xbox, as you guys know, is going to be taking place, I believe, this Thursday, and Microsoft is, of course, they're very hyping this thing. They're saying it's going to be the biggest thing ever, and I think, that's a little bit funny. Like for me, I always get into it a little bit on Twitter. I actually avoid that place a little bit lately as well, just because it's just such an unhealthy place. But I just feel like for me personally, the fact that Microsoft continually says the same thing, and I, like my voice sounds like I'm losing it. It's almost like I lose my voice trying to get people to see what I see. That Microsoft says the same thing every single year, and they never deliver what people want. They never deliver anything that people actually want. So it is very interesting. So obviously, they're announcing that their annual XO convention is going to take place November 14th in London. Microsoft has released a promo video teasing some of the announcements that you can see. They're going to have news from over 10 Xbox Game Studio titles and new game reveals. Now, keep in mind, I'm very well aware that game reveals doesn't mean exclusives, so you got to keep that in mind as well. They call it the biggest Inside Xbox ever, which is the same thing they said last year, by the way. And it's creating expectations, according to this article, which I did link an article so you guys can check it out. So this is what they're going to be talking about. News from over 10 Xbox Game Studio titles, new game reveals, huge Xbox Game Pass news, a Project xCloud update, and so much more. Some of the games to be confirmed for the conference include Wasteland 3, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Minecraft Dungeons, Sea of Thieves, Crossfire X, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So you can probably be pretty sure, because even though this one isn't listed in this, but Bleeding Edge and possibly Battletoads or something along those lines, maybe Ori too. So I wouldn't expect anything big or anything like that. If you guys remember, last year's included the In Exile Entertainment and Obsidian Entertainment being acquired by Microsoft, and some new Game Pass titles as well. Updates on some stuff like Forza Horizon 4 and Minecraft Sea of Thieves. So again, this is just something, I think this is par for the course for Microsoft. They always are going to come out there and kind of announce this stuff as it comes about. Again, I don't personally care. I think it's fine that they do this, but it's like, just keep your expectations in check a little bit. And as you guys come in, please hit the like button and share it out. I would appreciate it. It means a lot to me. You guys come out and check out some of my stuff. Yeah, for me, like I said, I just think that it's one of those things that Microsoft does, and I guess it's okay to create hype. I understand that. I just wish that they would do a little bit better job of coming through with that once in a while, because as fans, I feel like they do owe it to us a little bit to deliver something every once in a while. A little bit of change, a little bit of something, because let's face it, we haven't had much to really get excited about over the years, and I would love just the chance to really just kind of lose my mind and get really excited again for a change. And it doesn't seem like that's something that's going to happen, especially given the circumstance. And I know that we've got some new stuff coming next year that they're going to announce. They're obviously probably going to announce Fable. I just think that it would be nice for them to actually come out of their way and actually surprise people for a change. Maybe that's a little bit too bold or too much. I don't know. I guess it just depends on what they want to do. But I would love to see something along that lines from Microsoft. Just come out and announce something. We know Fable's coming. Why not go ahead and announce it? I understand that there's a new generation coming, but let's be real. We've had such a lackluster time. This generation, would it kill them to come out and surprise some people with something good? For me personally, I think that would be phenomenal. That would totally blow my mind. I would be extremely happy if they would actually come out and do something like that. So the fact of the matter is that they usually don't, and it's something of a running joke, because you can look back every single E3 that Phil Spencer's been in charge, and he always mentions how it's going to be the biggest and the best games lineup, etc., etc. And then it's always not that. It's always something a little bit less than that, or not very good to begin with. So I do hope that they can kind of come out and kind of rectify this and give us something that we really, really want for a change. I just feel like we're due something great, and I would love to see something great from Microsoft for a change, and just see them get excited about something. Be able to see the fans be excited for a change. I know there's always the faux excitement that a lot of the fake fans have, and that's fine. But I'm talking about give the real fans, the ones that admit that it's been like long suffering or whatever. Give those fans actually something to cheer about, not the Defense Force fans, not the ones that are going around telling everybody how great Xbox is all the time, but the people that really, really have been long suffering and understand that Microsoft hasn't really given us what we've been promised this entire generation. I would love for that to be the case, and I do actually hope that that's something that happens sooner rather than later. I feel like I could have went along all along and just been, kind of done what some of the other people do and just lie and blow smoke up your butt and stuff like that about how great Xbox is. Listen, I'm not saying that they're in a terrible position. I mean, they obviously have some studios now, and they've got some services and a powerful box, and maybe they'll have the most powerful box again next generation. But at the same time, it's just like, for me personally, how do you win back your consumers? Like, you've got to be able to, to kind of keep your consumers excited and happy about the future. And I just don't see anybody really, really happy or excited about what's going on with the future. That what the fudge says, it's vital that they take their time. Remember when they announced Crackdown 3, Phil said he hated the fact that they revealed it so early. Well, listen, they spent 5+ years on that game and it still turned out like crap. Okay, at some point, you've got to be believing in your companies. You've got to believe in your developers. You got to believe in what you're doing, and you got to believe that they're going to actually deliver something that they promise. So Crackdown 3 was made by a lackluster developer, and it turned out lackluster. If you've got something, I think you got to show it. You can't just keep going out and going, well, we're excited by stuff we didn't show. Like, okay, that's great. I'm sure all these companies are excited by stuff they didn't show, right? Like, that's the big problem that I have, is just like, hey, show us some stuff, get us excited about the console again. That's all I'm really looking for, is like, get us excited about what you guys have to offer for a change. I want to be excited by Xbox just like everybody else, even if I'm not doing YouTube anymore. Get me excited about gaming and all that kind of stuff. I just feel like, I haven't really been excited by anything Xbox specific in such a long time, that it really just kind of is a little bit upsetting. And I would like Microsoft to like maybe rectify this a little bit. Just give us a little bit of reasons here and there to be excited. I know, like, they think that these little events are those reasons, but they really aren't. It's like Flight Simulator and Battletoads and Wasteland 3. Those aren't like big killer games that people are looking forward to, particularly people like me. I'm not saying nobody ever in the history of anything is looking forward to that or would want to play that. I'm just saying, for me personally, it's not something that it's not why I bought an Xbox. I'm looking forward to more or less something in the big AAA space, in that big realm that we haven't seen before. It's like, even stuff like Halo and Gears isn't as thrilling to me as it once was, and that's not to say that it never can be. If they really knocked it out of the park, I think that I would really, really be happy with that. The fact of the matter is, even when I look at stuff like Gears of War 5, it was such a letdown for me personally. Like, just like from a story aspect, and the amount of microtransactions and almost the freemium way that they treat that game. So it was a little bit depressing or whatever, but I do hope that they can fix that in the future. Maybe next E3. The only problem is, I refuse to be that guy anymore that says, "Hey, wait till next E3, guys," because I always feel that was so stupid. You know what I mean? I just think that it's not right. The way that we always kind of just, oh, wait till next E3. We like give these companies passes for everything, and that's not just an Xbox thing. That's a kind of an everything thing, and just in general, we tend to give things that we favor a little bit more leeway more so than the things that we don't. So that is a little bit disheartening to me as well. Like, I would just like to see Microsoft do the right thing, in the future. Give people something to be excited about. Give us, if we know that Fable's coming, or if it's not Fable, just, hey, Fable, it's real, it's coming. we'll show it to you this E3, but at least announce that it's coming. You know what I mean? Like that, something like that could go a long way in getting people, excited about the future of Xbox. Like the thing that I don't understand is the fact that I've never seen such a low level of excitement around Xbox in my entire life. Like my friends don't play it anymore. I rarely play it anymore. Unless it's a multi-plat or anybody. Hey, and if you guys are all here, please hit the like button and share it out. I would appreciate that. And see if we can get some more people out there. If Fable 4 does come, microtransactions like it's just a game and not a service, then I hope it succeeds. Well, listen, why would Fable need microtransactions to begin with? You know what I mean? That's the thing that I would say. Like, why would Fable need microtransactions to begin with? You're talking like, look, Horizon Zero Dawn from Sony doesn't have microtransactions. I don't understand why Microsoft would feel the need to put a RPG out filled with microtransactions. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But Microsoft does some things that doesn't make sense to me. But at the end of the day, I do hope that we do get that Fable announcement. I think a lot of us are kind of holding on to that. And I do think that Microsoft probably thought about making some kind of announcement for that last year or maybe this past E3, but then just kind of decided maybe it would be better if they held back on that a little bit or something along those lines. So for me personally, I would have loved it. It would have made me feel much better about the brand and things like that. I just maybe could have saved myself a lot of heartache and a lot of just whatever if they could have actually done that. So I would have loved to seen them do that and just kind of surprised us in a positive way for a change, and I just feel like Microsoft, maybe they get that, maybe they don't. I don't know. I would love to see them sort of just surprise people and do something that nobody thought that they would do for a while. Like what does biggest inside Xbox even mean? Like that's something that I question as well. Like they're like, oh, the biggest inside Xbox ever, but okay, what does that even mean? Does that mean it's got more floor space? Does that mean it's going to have more games? Does that mean it's got, they're going to have more announcements, more exclusives? Like, those are the things that I kind of question when I think about these events and when Microsoft does these events. You know what I mean? I just think that it's one of those things where Microsoft tends to be a little bit ambiguous with what they're talking about, and that's a bit of a shame too, because I also think that Microsoft, they can do better. They're a $1 trillion company. Don't let anybody ever fool you with that. They are definitely a company that has the money and the means to put out a CG trailer. Put out a little card that says, hey, this game is coming soon, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I think that that's something that they could definitely achieve much more than even Sony or Nintendo, and that's what I would kind of look forward to as well. And I hope that they actually do kind of come around to that at some point, because I just feel like they've done a really piss poor job thus far of actually getting anybody excited about what they're doing in the future. You know what I mean? So hopefully they can do that, and hopefully they can make some changes for the better. I actually think they'll be more than fine next generation, by the way. I think that when it comes down to what they're doing, they have a clear idea of what they want to do, and it seems like they want to do like all these services and stuff, and I'm okay with that. They want to do services, but I do think that at some point, they keep talking about options. You have to decide, like, okay, so what options do you actually want there to be in the future? Are you guys selling games, or are you guys trying to just more or less really want people to subscribe to your service? Okay, like that would be the thing that I say, like, which one do you really want to do? Because it seems to me it's going to be hard to do both. And why I say that, you might not, maybe you might go, oh, well, that's not true. They can always do both. Well, if Game Pass affects the way that they make their games, I don't know that they can do both, right? That's all I'm saying, okay? So what I mean by that is Gears of War 5, for example, is so backloaded with microtransactions. If you've got to do that, to keep games in Game Pass? Is it worth it long run for the gamers themselves? And I know a lot of you will go, well, it's just optional, but where does that line get drawn, right? That's my question. When does that line get drawn? Because you've got, you're paying $5 for an animation or $10 for a skin or whatever, and these aren't free to play games, mind you. These are still games that you pay $60 for, right? Like, you can understand Fortnite, which is free. They're charging for stuff, but at the same time, if that was a full $60 game, I'm sure people would have a much bigger problem with being charged all that money for the microtransactions and stuff like that. I really, really hope that they can kind of find a happy medium there. I guess that's what I'm hoping for. Find that happy medium, kind of get people excited what's going on. I think that would be great. Hold on. Thomas says, crap, you're wrong. People on a budget need new games day one too. Hey, you know what? Gaming is an expensive hobby. Okay? The only games that you're getting day one are Xbox exclusives, which are few and far between, especially the big AAAs. So, they give you plenty of time to buy the games, and that service is there anyway. But it's like, is that ruining the game for the hardcore? That's what I would wonder as well. Let's see, what is that? Stahl says, why are you removing videos? Crap, I remove them. I sounded like shit in some of the videos the other day, so I took them down. I was trying, I try to put stuff up sometimes when I probably shouldn't. So I was terribly sick, and that was my bad. Hey, as you guys join in, please hit the like button, share it out. I'd appreciate it. I'll be answering a lot of questions and stuff like that as I go on. I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of this stuff. What the Fudge says, I do think that EXO could be pretty big. Otherwise, why are they bothering to fly in journalists to that show? Well, they did that last year too, and I'm not sure that it would helped it be much bigger, or anything like that. So we'll have to see how it goes. I'll be doing an E3 recap or a EXO recap, which it probably will be a little bit reminiscent of E3. Phil Spencer's going to be there and stuff like that. Let's see. El Chalago says, hey, crap, why are you obsessed with exclusive AAA games right now? I'm so busy playing games in Game Pass like Gears, Metro, and Other Worlds and more. Listen, it's exclusives. I like exclusives, man. It wouldn't be such a big deal if Microsoft would have been able to come out with a decent amount of them throughout the years. The fact that Microsoft has really dropped the ball has really kind of let me down as a fan. Okay? It's not just something new. The whole reason I bought an Xbox One was because of exclusives, and they had more and better ones than Sony at launch. So what changed? Well, Microsoft changed. They stopped producing content. They haven't announced a new AAA IP since 2015. These are big problems. I bought an Xbox that should be differentiate itself from the other platforms. And what's differentiating it from anything right now? Nothing, really. I mean, you can say Game Pass. I have Game Pass through 2022, but I can tell you right now, I have absolutely no intention of, being there, when that really goes away. You know what I mean? I'm not going to pay $10 a month for Game Pass because I feel like it's not worth it. I have not even used Game Pass yet. I've never even used it. I've had it for, I had it for a year, and that ran out, and then I re-upped it for $1 when they did that dollar deal, and I had gold through 2022, and you can just cap it off for that $1, and so I did that then, and I've never used it. So, I just can't imagine. Like, I own Metro, and I've never even played it, by the way. Sometimes I get gifted games. Sometimes I get a review code for a game. Sometimes people are just like, hey, can you mention my game while you're in a podcast? Like, that stuff happens. And I know not everybody's like that, but, and I haven't even had a chance to play those games. Like, for me, playing Metro or Outer Worlds or whatever, I can play that on PlayStation 4. I certainly don't need an Xbox One. Like, give me a reason to play Xbox One. I think that's why, that's probably why I would say that. You know what I mean? Wait till XO. XO is this Thursday, you guys. So as you guys join in, please hit the like button and share it out. I'd appreciate it if you guys could do that for me. Listen, you've got to be able to sort of just look at the way Microsoft are doing things. And again, I think they'll be fine, but I do feel like they've got to be able to get people just a little bit more excited than what they have been so far. You know what I mean? And I think if they were able to do that, they could do something that none of us really thought that they would be able to do. You know, and for me personally, I think that that would be pretty kick-ass. For me, I just think that that's really, really something that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Microsoft getting back to the way that and they'll never be completely the way that they used to be, by the way. But I do think that they can just do something. Like, they have to realize that people want something a little bit, you know, bigger and better from them. Something new, something announcement that we haven't had before, right? Something in the AAA realm. Like, I don't think Phil Spencer is a dumb person. So I know that he gets it. I know that he knows that people want these types of announcements. I just wonder, like, when is he going to actually come out there and sort of announce that? That's something that, you know, I hope that he does sooner rather than later. Is just like give people a little bit of a reason to be excited again. Like, that's something that, you know, I would love. And again, listen, it kind of came out not too long ago, and I think I did a video about it, and other people were talking about it. Microsoft, the Xbox One is supposedly at almost 47 million units sold, so it'll be over 50 million by the time, likely anyway, by the time the next Xbox comes out. So believe it or not, even though that's such a huge step down from, and I linked this in the description, so in case any of you guys were like, oh, well, can you show me this or whatever, you know, what I did, what I'm trying to say is, you know, almost 50 million, believe it or not, even though it's a huge step back from the Xbox 360 days, you know, it's still quite a decent amount of consoles. It's still, like, I think in the top 6 or something. So yeah, I just, you know, I think that what they're doing is, you know, obviously people are getting over the initial stuff that they had, right? Like the initial problems and things like that. And, you know, it really just kind of comes down to, are they going to be able to deliver the type of stuff that people want going forward? And I hope they can. I think that competition is definitely needed, and I feel like that's something that, you know, that actually can come out and do something, you know, for a change. Like, I would love to see them actually come out and sort of surprise people and do even better next generation. I would like to see that. You know, I would like to see them, you know, surprise people and sort of with games, you know, and I feel like games are the main thing when it comes to these things. So 47 million is an incredible large amount, you know, especially given where they come from this generation. Like, if you think about it, how bad did this generation start? You know, I'm sure many of us thought that thing would just completely flop, but the fact of the matter is, you know, it's done incredibly well here in the States, and, you know, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, that like Xbox, and I'm not going to knock it. You know, look, there's a lot of people, believe it or not, absolutely love just, you know, playing multiplats, and that's all they play. And you know, that's cool, but that's just not really my style completely. You know, I like to play multiplats, but I also like to play, you know, like a variety of other types of games as well. In particular, just look at how different exclusives can be. And I hate to bring this up again, but let's take PlayStation 4 for example. Console exclusive, however you want to put it. Death Stranding. Now, I'm not terribly far into this game because I've been sick, but this is one of the most unique games I've ever played in my life. And again, it's exclusive. Excuse me. Yeah, so, you know, it's exclusive. Days Gone, another one exclusive. Concrete Genie. I mean, I know that's a smaller game or whatever, but, you know, these are exclusive games, you guys. And this is the stuff that kind of I'm talking about. Like, the exclusives are the things that really kind of change the game and make things worthwhile, in my opinion. And I just really feel like that's something that Microsoft has kind of lost out on recently. And when I mean recently, I mean this generation, right? Like, they haven't really done a good job at keeping these exclusives coming and flowing the way that they should. Like, they started off good, man. Think about it. within the first year of the Xbox One, we got, and I know, like looking back, you might go, oh, well, those games aren't good now, but at the time they were pretty good, some of them anyway. And when you think about those initial launch year games, it was like Forza Motorsport 5, Dead Rising 3, Rise, Killer Instinct, and then you had stuff like Titanfall come out within the first few months, and you had Sunset Overdrive come out within that first year, Halo Master Chief Collection, Forza Horizon 2. So you really, really had quite a large collection of pretty good games to really sort of showcase what Microsoft's new box could do. I know a lot of that was kind of bogged down with the situation with the resolution and stuff like that. So unfortunately, that is always going to be a bit of a thing. But for me personally, I just have to say that like I never cared about the resolution. I always thought that was just kind of a funny like fanboy talking point or something. But like I could never tell the difference to begin with. So it never really mattered to me, and I always just kind of wanted, great games. And I thought like that, Microsoft was really onto something. They were like, hey, we've spent $1 billion on getting exclusives, right? So you knew that exclusives matters. And it's just like they changed so much from the beginning of the generation till now, where it was like Phil Spencer would say, oh, I want Xbox gamers to feel like, they have, like I want them to feel like that they're the cock of the walk or whatever, right? Like that's the type of stuff that that I like to see. The fact that now it's like Phil Spencer looks at pretty much anything as as long as it's made by an Xbox Game Studios person or studio or whatever, then it's fine. It can be multiplied. That's like the wrong mindset to have, in my opinion, because I feel like all these consoles, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, all need consoles that offer something different than the other ones, right? Like going into next generation, Xbox Scarlet and PS5 are going to be so similar, right? If you guys just think about that for a second, okay? Both of these things are taking a focus on solid state drives to eliminate load times. Power, they're going to be like 4K, 60 frames mostly. Both of them are going to be doing ray tracing. So what's going to be the difference? Well, it's pretty clear to me anyway that the difference is obviously going to be, it's clearly going to be the content. So if you don't have the content, then I think that's where you're going to kind of lose out a little bit. But I do feel like, both Sony and Microsoft understand this. I feel like even though Microsoft has dropped the ball recently, that they still do understand this, and they get that they're going to need to step their game up and kind of make things better than this generation. The problem is, when is it going to get better? Like, that's the problem that I have. And as you guys join in, please hit the like button, share out the video. I would appreciate it, just kind of having some fun, talking some stuff. Just having, just a good time. That's what this stuff's all about. Talking about video games and, seeing what you guys are excited about and stuff like that. That's, to me, that's what it's really all about. Again, this is something that is kind of near and dear to my heart. I'd like to get up over 100 likes, though, if you guys couldn't mind. I know there's only a couple hundred watching right now, but if you could do that, that'd be great. I don't know why Microsoft can't get software right, man. I hope that they can get it. Maybe that hands-off approach that they're doing is okay. Lansville Paul says, crap, I wouldn't beat a drum at 50 million when last gen was over 80. So to me, it's regress, not progress. I get it. I'm not saying it's great, but in the grand scheme of things, you're still, I think, in the top 7 of all time. Maverick says Microsoft just wants games for Game Pass. There will be nothing significant. Yeah, probably not. Like, I always say it's best not to get too excited about this stuff, just for the simple fact that, we know that what they want to do. We know that they want to get people signed up for Game Pass. Look, they're already doing that. Top your gold subscription off for $1. You know what I mean? They're doing that again. So, Dark Carnage says, crap, I know what will make you feel better. Xbox announcing a AAA exclusive. and later becoming a contender for Game of the Year. Hey, wouldn't that be awesome? I think that would be awesome. One Typical says PS4 and their exclusives always tend to trend on Twitter too. It gets people talking. This is very, very much true as well. David Lee says, CG, hope you feel better. Hey, I appreciate that as well. Jerome says, how many of 47 million were bought individually? You bought 4. Yeah, I bought 4, but I also bought 2 PS4s. So, I mean, you know, it's one of those things where a lot of people, you know, kind of get there. Yeah, Dark Carnage, I'm still under the weather, man. I'm kind of still in traction, too. I can't really walk or anything right now. So, you know, I do think that, like, as you guys hit the like button and share it out and all that kind of stuff, I feel like Microsoft, they can do some things to sort of right the ship. So, like, again, I feel like next gen, even though I'm not going to get an Xbox Scarlet day one, maybe eventually I'll get one, and, you know, they're going to need some games to really get me excited by that, you know. So hopefully they can do that. But just speaking of the numbers, which I did post this on the description about the 47 million, this was from CNBC. We might have some insight on what it is. Through the second quarter of 2019, Microsoft has sold through 46.9 million. This seems to line up with the prior reports given to the timeline, and a much more credible number than the likes of VG charts, which have been relatively poor at guessing. It's an interesting number when you consider its place in history, how it compares to the PS4 in the US versus globally, nearly 1-to-1 in the US, yet outsold heavily elsewhere. And it does mention that it's a regression from the Xbox 360 figures. So we do have a little bit of an idea about where it's going to come into play. So, you know what? It's it's an interesting number. I got to say. It's definitely an interesting number. And it's a number that I feel like, you know, Microsoft... I don't understand why Microsoft is so against announcing numbers at all, right? Like, they just never want to seem to announce anything or come clean about anything, you know? They just never do. They just are like, you know, if you have... Like, I saw some people, or somebody was pointing out this site, okay? And I'll give you a good example of what I'm talking about. There was a site that was out there, and it was listing that there were 9.5. And you guys might see other YouTubers talk about this. I don't know, you know, I don't really follow YouTubers or anything, but it was like a site that was saying that there was 9.5 million Game Pass subscribers, and it didn't have a link to like a source or anything like that. So when you're looking at it, it's just like you're kind of looking at it and you're like, huh, that's very interesting, because you know, I just felt like, I don't know, you know, I just felt like it was kind of an interesting aspect of it. But, you know, at the same time, I do think that both Microsoft and Sony, you know, they need each other to survive. Like, I don't want to, you know, see around, you know, I don't want to be around the industry when there's only, you know, an Xbox or only a PlayStation. You know, I think that would suck. So even when I was like a fully kind of Xbox fanboy or whatever, I never was one of those people to go, oh, really, I do hope that, you know, PlayStation go out of business or Microsoft go out of business. I thought that was really kind of lame, you know, when people kind of do that and pretend like they want one to go out of business or they don't like the other or whatever, because I just feel like that's not, you know, that's not very smart, you know, so, or that's not a very smart way to think about things, in my opinion anyway. Rashado says 47 out of 200 million and 40 million less than last generation. Would you put that out? Well, listen, people think it's much worse, right? Like, if you think about it, think about this for a second as you guys hit the like button and share it out, of course. How many people for the longest time thought Xbox was under like 20 million or under 30 million, right? Like, I even used to joke around. I know some people don't take the joke or whatever or get the joke, but I used to joke around nonstop. I would say, you know, Xbox is at, you know, 28.5 million or whatever, right? Like, it's not that I actually thought that it was, you know, that low. I always thought, like, this year, I thought Microsoft was at like 39, 40 million, right? That's kind of what I thought. But with that being said, you know, I didn't think that it was like the 46, 47 million that it probably actually is. And that's, even though it's, 6, 7 million doesn't seem like a lot, it kind of is. So, it's just one of those things where they're doing a little bit better than a lot of people gave them credit for. And I feel like they'll continue to probably stay the course and do what they can. I do hope that they can continue to survive and, do some good things, because I feel like there is stuff that they have to offer. And I am excited for the new Fable, and I am excited to see what the initiative has to offer. I'm a little less excited about the Ninja Theory stuff because Bleeding Edge looks terrible. But there's, plenty to be excited about. I don't want everybody thinking that I'm just a pure Xbox hater or something like that, because I do feel like there is absolutely a ton of people that should and could be excited by what's going on. And, and Microsoft, sometimes they do a good job, sometimes they don't. I wish that they would get their messaging a little bit better and stop some of the cringy stuff. Like, again, the people they have hosting this Inside Xbox aren't my favorite by the long run. So, I really hope that they kind of find somebody, some way, some rhyme, some reason to better themselves when it comes to the way that they handle these things. Maybe it's by getting rid of the host altogether and doing it sort of the way that Sony does their thing. I don't mind having a host. The thing that I mind is the way that they is the host that they have in particular, right? Like their hosts just aren't very good. They're kind of cheesy, and I feel like they aren't doing Xbox any favors whatsoever. So, I would like to see them actually go about it and sort of and get things, going a certain way, and kind of get people excited about, Xbox again. Like, Xbox used to be so exciting. You guys remember? Like, I don't know if you guys even remember the 360 era, or how many of you guys were in the 360 era, but Xbox was exciting. Microsoft and the Xbox 360 was something to behold. It was really, really exciting, and I was super, super excited by a lot of the things that they were doing and that they were offering. So, for me personally, it is a bit of a bummer to see that, hey, Microsoft has kind of let that excitement go. They tried, like, I don't know if they think by saying, hey, it's going to be the biggest ever, if that's going to be, like, exciting in and of itself. Like, I feel like, people want a little bit more than that. So I hope that, in the future, that they can actually, do a better job, because new game reveals and stuff just isn't cutting it anymore. Like, I've done so many videos about, hey, new game reveals, new this, new that, and again, it seems like there's hardly anything to really get excited about, that, like, I see it all the time. Like, I'm not saying that Microsoft sucks or anything like that. It's just like, man, get your stuff together a little bit more. Nine Live says, am I hyped for Battletoads? No. I absolutely think that game looks terrible, by the way. That's not a knock on anything in particular. That's just how I feel about it. Thanks, Squeamish Cub. Thank you. Please hit the like button. I'm feeling a little bit better. Hopefully I can continue to get better. Portal Player says, Crapgamer. He says, XO19 is going to redeem Xbox One. We'll see that. Christian Bennett says, how the hell is more people playing Madden 18 than Gears 5? Dude, that's my point too. Excuse me, I had to cough. That's something that I found to be kind of funny, right? Like, how the heck is a game like Madden 18 going to have more players than Gears of War 5? It doesn't really make sense to me at all. And it is a little bit of a shame. It is a shame to sort of see that, and see that, Microsoft hasn't done a good job at cultivating their own AAA franchise that, is is probably their biggest franchise besides Halo, right? It just doesn't really. I don't understand it. It is a little bit upsetting, you know. It's like, hey, this was like your guys' biggest franchise, and you haven't really been able to, to be able to sort of get people into playing this game. Like, this is an online game. This is your bread and butter, Microsoft. Like, what's the deal? What's the deal? You really have to be able to get people excited and to get people, you know, into your game. Like, this is Gears of War. Like, thousands and thousands and thousands of people should be playing this non-stop. You know, this is like your big game. Like, what did you guys do to ruin this game? I don't understand it. And it is a bit of a sort of a bummer when you look at things and you go, well, that's not really right, is it? Like, how can this thing almost be out of the top 30 2 months after launch, and Madden from years ago has more active players on it then? And I can imagine that many people are playing Madden from, you know, years ago. That doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, just what I'm saying, man. It's like you have to just kind of wonder, like, and the thing is Microsoft will damage control it, and then their fanboys will damage control it. But for me personally, I just feel like there's not really a reason to damage control it. You know, it's just like, it is what it is, in my opinion. It's like, why would you damage control that for the fans? And then why, if you're fans, why would you damage control that in return? Like, there's not really anything or any reason to really damage control that. Like, you know, come on. Let's just kind of, you know, see how things work out. But at the same time, Microsoft hasn't done themselves any favors by doing all this damage control, because it makes everything look so much worse. You know, like, so much worse. I would just like to say, you know, for me personally, the fact that they don't announce numbers, the fact that they don't say anything about the success of anything, and I don't even think we're ever going to get, like, amount of players or anything like that anymore from them either. Like, they've announced that they aren't going to do that, you know? So, like, I think that it's going to be sort of a weird next generation, because we're all used to these numbers and sort of hearing the different things and things like that, and knowing a little bit better where, you know, how things are doing it. And the fact that Microsoft is kind of changing all this stuff around so that they don't have to announce numbers, and they don't have to do this, or they don't have to do that. You know, like, for me personally, I just think that that's a little bit strange. And, you know, I hope that they can actually, you know, come out and kind of fix some of this stuff in the future, you know. I would love to see that happen, and I would love to see Microsoft, again, be able to just sort of, you know, change the way that people think about things, you know. Just a little bit anyway. You know, I would love to see that. And so far, we haven't really seen that, you know. But like I said, I would absolutely love for Microsoft to go out of their way and make things right, and do things and surprise people the way that, you know, the way that we want them to. Again, and when you look at how Sony's had success, okay, this generation, what did they do? They just really relied on their exclusives. And I think that that's fine, and that's a very smart thing to do, because if you look at what launched today, Disney Plus launched today, right? Now, I'm trying it. It's bogged down, of course. Okay, it's like I can't get this thing to load up. I was trying to watch The Mandalorian, and I can't get it to work at all. But you know, from that's how these things work. Like, this is like the future, I guess. You know, like, this is how this stuff works. You know, people, the services and stuff like that. But if you look at what Matt Piscatella has even said over the past, you know, we really have to kind of come to terms with the way that these services might not be the wave of the future in terms for this type of gaming, the way that people think so. Hold on. Enrico says, if you damage control a game as a gamer, you're just asking for more of the same. I never understood that, dude. What's up, Dan White? I don't understand that either. Like, why damage control a game, right? If it's just going to end up, like, getting you worse games. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. It's like with this whole Death Stranding thing, okay? Why are Xbox fans so pissed off about this game? Okay? That absolutely doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It doesn't make any sense. If you're an Xbox only gamer, you're an Xbox only gamer. What does it matter if Death Stranding is exclusive to PS4? Like, it really, really shouldn't matter. And it really, really doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter to you at all. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense to me that we see so many people, like, take offense to this, or they still make fun of it, right? They go, hey, it's got, like, it's a walking simulator. It's this, it's that. It's like, sure, there's walking, but there's also vehicles in it. And there's so much more to it than just that. So I'll never understand the people that just kind of, claim one thing or the other. Like, oh, it's this or that. It's like, Killer Instinct is just a fighting game. Halo is just a shooter. Okay, like, sure. But there's more to these games than just that. You guys got to understand that. So I'll never understand why people were so kind of obsessed and, upset. Like, the only thing that I can think of is the fact that it was exclusive or whatever. And so people were really sort of, just kind of taking it for granted or whatever. Just, making fun of it. Now, some people asked me to talk about the Kojima stuff, right? Which, again, this is stuff that's hard to tackle on YouTube nowadays, okay? Or anywhere. So let me be kind of clear when I talk about this. There happens to be some things that can be lost in translation sometimes with these interviews. With that being said, I do think that, that what Kojima said, like, listen, would anybody think twice if somebody was like, well, look, if you look at what games would sell in Japan, they're mostly Japanese games, right, that are appealing to a Japanese gamer. In the U.S., a lot of U.S. people like, Call of Duties and your, Maddens and stuff like that. So I'm not really saying that Kojima's right or wrong. I'm just saying, I think people are overblowing this. Or just because it's a PlayStation exclusive, they're out there, trying to find reasons to dislike the guy, or trying to find reasons to hate the game more, or whatever. And I don't understand that at all. Like, if you don't want to play the game, hey, don't play the game. Nobody's going to force you to play it. Nobody cares if you play it or not. Okay? Like, for me personally, I like the game. I think it's cool. I don't have enough time in it to really state for a fact one way or the other what I think about it. I think it's good, but is it like... And I think it's changing the game, for sure. But is it something that... is it something that, is going to have staying power and long-term things like that? I don't really know. I don't know. It could. Would I suggest it to people? I would maybe suggest it to certain people, but I don't think that, there's a lot of games like that. Like, would I suggest Gears of War to people? Well, I would suggest it to certain people, but that's not to say that I would suggest it to everybody. You see what I'm saying? So, again, that's just one of the things that, like what I talk about. It's, for me personally, it depends on what kind of games you're into. If you're, if you like racing games, hey, you might not like Death Stranding. If you like Death Stranding, you might not like, you might not like Gears 5. So, like, you got to keep those type of things in mind, just because, like, we're all different and all of us kind of have our own idea on what we like and what kind of stuff we want to see in the future. So hopefully that'll continue to kind of work its way out. And, for me personally, I think that that's the best way that it can go about things. It's just like kind of get that thing kind of going and things like that. So, hey, everybody, please hit the like button as you get in here. I know it's kind of impromptu and, I sound like crap or whatever, but if you wouldn't mind, sharing it out and stuff like that, I would appreciate it. Like it, get us up over 100 likes. That would be pretty awesome as well. Just because, it's just because I'm out here doing my thing. And sadly, if you guys are just joining me, I'm not going to be on, I'm not going to be on Crossfire anymore, and I'm not going to be able to do, I'm not going to be able to do, I don't think, Xbox Nation anymore. A lot of people, I know a lot of people kind of, it's hard saying, obviously my channel isn't in a good spot right now. So, just some of these things, and just with time and getting married and stuff like that, it would be difficult to sort of, do the things that I think that I need to do to turn things around. So, I'll still be doing like these things once in a while and some videos once in a while. Hopefully that passion comes back the way that it used to be. It's like, for me, I'm an Xbox fan, and to see Xbox kind of, falter the way that they did, even after I went to bat for them the way that I did, it definitely took a lot out of me. So, apologies for that, and maybe I'll bring back something one of these days, or bring something. I don't know, but for me, right now, this is just the best that I can do. And plus that, doing those late night shows or whatever, like, my Wednesday was tied up from pretty much 7:30 till 10 p.m. Eastern. I couldn't get any gaming done in that time. My Fridays were kind of tied up from 6:30 to 9. So I didn't have a ton of time to do things that I wanted to do, and now it's like, I can, it's going to allow me to do a little bit more stuff that I want to do, and things like that. So hopefully everybody kind of understands where I'm coming from with this, and, doesn't get pissed off or anything like that, because I'm still trying to do my thing. You know what I mean? Hey, I know I'm still going to be around. I'm still going to be doing stuff. I just won't be able to do as much as I did. Yeah, we're still going to be doing M&C on Sundays. And like I said, if that passion ever comes back, or there's a ton of gaming news, let's be real. The fact that Sony didn't do E3, and that we're in a transition year, and the games haven't been amazing, it's been tough. It's been tough. So yeah, I'm still going to be doing stuff. You just have to look at what YouTube has become. Look, when I first was doing this, man, it was like me and BGST and all that kind of stuff, and Next Gen. We were some of the only guys doing it. Now everybody does it, and it's a really good source of income for a lot of these guys. And I think there was a point for me, and it was this year, where I was just like, I can't blow smoke up people's asses. Like, it's one thing to be, okay, there's plenty to be excited about Xbox, and I get that I handled things maybe too extreme for some Xbox fans, and maybe some Xbox fans could have taken that a little bit differently. What I mean is, I was very vocal with the hate and with the way things were going, and I could have probably handled that a little bit differently. Conversely, I'm not really going to apologize for that, but I will say that there's also a lot of people that realistically do the opposite, right? Where they just cheerlead everything that Xbox does, and that's not really something that I'm able to do as much anymore. Oh, hold on, buddy. It's okay. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, anyway, yeah, there's one of those things where, like, I just really wanted to kind of get that point across. Buddy, hold on 1 second, guys. That's cool. Sorry about that, guys. Can you go find something to do for a little bit?
I didn't want to.
Okay. You can play with that?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So anyway, yeah, like I said, I really kind of wanted to kind of get that point across, and it's not a knock on anybody. Look, would you blame anybody for doing their thing if it was doing well like that? No, of course not. Like, I'm not going to knock anybody's hustles or anything like that. I just feel like, for me personally, I really wanted to sort of handle things a little bit differently, and I had my own style, and I get that that's not for everybody. You know what I mean? but at the same time, I do feel like I've done a lot, and I've done a lot of good stuff for a lot of people. You know, I've helped a lot of people out, and I actually helped, you know, get a few people off the ground with this whole YouTube thing. And, you know, people move on quick or turn their back or whatever as soon as you're not, like, hyping up whatever they want. And that's a little bit unfortunate for me. But at the same time, I understand it too. You know, everybody, you know, if you're a huge Xbox, like, listen, the whole reason I started this channel to begin with was quite simply put, Xbox was getting bashed a lot, right? And I felt like it didn't deserve to get bashed all that much, you know, like the way that it was. So I was kind of bummed out about that. And I was like, hey, you know what? Xbox messed up, but hey, they're looking to fix things, right? They've got some good games. They've got a quality platform, Xbox Live, controllers, all this kind of stuff, you know. And then it was like starting to get into these doldrums of, well, what's our next big game? Oh, it's Crackdown 3, or oh, it's State of Decay 2, or oh, it's Recore, right? It was just like the game is just, I didn't understand how this company just didn't have any games outside of these like low rent, like average games. Like, you know, we're talking about the company that had Halo and Gears and Forza. Like, why can't you come out with that next big thing? Like, listen to the fans, give us something that we want. And nobody would, you know, nobody would. So it was a little bit of, yeah, I'll do a reaction to the Xbox X. So everybody, hey, hit the like button. We're almost up over 100. Buck Rogers says, let's just face the facts. As we get older, the games just don't have that same feel that they did. It depends on the game. Like, I like gaming. The fact of the matter is, I just don't like, you know, playing 50, 60, 70 hours into a game anymore. You know, it's like, it's just one of those things, you know, like it's a little bit unfortunate. I'm not quitting Snakes. I'm cutting back. I'm not doing, you know, like Crossfire or Xbox Nation, at least for a while. I experimented. I took a month off, and I came back, and I'm sick, and I'm hurt. Like a lot of you guys don't know, I got hurt, and so I haven't been able to really walk around because my foot's and my knee is messed up. So it's like I can't really do much, and so it's really kind of hampered some things. And you know, I really hesitated to make any kind of big decision with regarding this stuff. But at the end of the day, I just felt like it was something that I needed to kind of do and talk about. Do I think XO will be a good show? You know what? I don't really know. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it'll be average. I'm not expecting any surprises there, though. You know? Let's see. Xbox gets bashed because it's an American system. Look, I don't know if Xbox gets bashed because it's an American system. I just think that, you know, I just think that it gets bashed a little bit because they're a bit of the newcomers. And what they do is they really kind of go out of their way to, like I said, and I can harken back to Gears 5 because that's the latest release or whatever, right? When you look at things, okay, and let's just look at things logically here. When the way we look at things, and we can look at how Microsoft has been able to do certain things with Gears 5. Like, that would be probably, if that would have launched without any kind of issues, and you would have been able to play it, and it wouldn't have had all these microtransactions and stuff like that, it probably maybe would have been a pretty good game, okay? I didn't personally like the way the story went. I don't like the new characters. You know, spoiler, you don't have to deal with all the characters anymore, but I wasn't a big fan of that, okay? And so, I don't know, like, why ruin your games with all these transactions, even if they're optional or whatever? You're Microsoft, okay? So, like I just don't understand why they kind of did the things that they did, and for me personally, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, you know. It really doesn't make a lot of sense, and I would love to see Microsoft be able to kind of redeem themselves and do something that like completely unexpected, like make Fable a true RPG with like no microtransactions and no online multiplayer, right? Why not just do that? No microtransactions, no multiplayer, just have a really good game. right? I would love to be able to sort of to do that. You know what I mean? Will they ever have a AAA game that isn't multiplayer or microtransaction focused? Like, that's my question. Like Halo, I love the Halo franchise, and granted, I'm not huge on the multiplayer. I play it, but I understand that, it's one of those things where a lot of people love it, right? And I totally get that. I get it because it can be fun. I just suck at it. So it's one of those things where I'm kind of careful with it. But for me personally, like I said, I would love to see. I'm interested to see how they handle the microtransactions on the next Halo. Like, what are they going to do? Are they going to make it a games as a service? 1 second, you guys. Okay, that's a little bit better. I had to blow my nose there. Yeah, so like how are they going to handle that? Are they going to handle it like Destiny? Is it going to be games as a service, or is it going to be like doing dailies and weeklies or whatever? Like, that's my fear for Halo, right? I like the stories, although Halo 5 sucked with the story, but like, what's the future of that franchise going to be? Like I sort of question it, and you sort of just wonder, what are they going to be able to do? That's kind of my question, and I hope that they can actually go out there and sort of do something very interesting, and that maybe hasn't been done before. But again, I have my reservations. Simply put, it's just one of those things where, with the people leaving the studio and stuff like that, do we really have the faith in this company anymore to deliver? Kind of what we want them to hear. The main thing that I would point to as well is the fact that, is the fact that 343 hasn't delivered a great experience in Halo yet. Okay, if you look at Halo 4, it was pretty good, really good story. Multiplayer was kind of trash. If you look at Master Chief Collection, complete train wreck. And if you look at Halo 5, eventually the multiplayer was good. I admit that. But the single player was just awful, just horrible. So you have a company that's like a bootleg version of it's like a bootleg version of Bungie, and they haven't really been able to get anything right yet in terms of being able to do that. So let's see. We can hope they do that with Fable. I hope so anyway. Let's see. Yeah, I own an Xbox now still, yeah. That's where I'm watching Disney Plus. MJ Flick says, I bought an Xbox One for Killer Instinct and have been happier than a pig. Different strokes, but I'm a retro gamer. Been in it since the Sega Master System. Yeah, listen. But Killer Instinct was 2013, man. Like, at some point, there's got to be some other reason to play this console, right? Like, that's been my point, is at some point, we've got to be able to have something new, something interesting, something to help us out, something that would just be surprising, like that's what I'm talking about. That's what I want. So hopefully we can do that. Hopefully we can get kind of hey, what's up, Gaming for Days? I appreciate it, man. You guys are great. What few fans I have left are people that check out the channel. I do really appreciate it. You guys are pretty good. Hey, listen, I don't feel bad for me, you guys, when it comes to this stuff. Nothing lasts forever, okay? Like, when it comes to YouTube and stuff like that, it's like you're hot one day, you're not the next. I was able to do a lot of stuff that I never thought I would ever be able to do. And so while it is a little bit sad for me personally for like kind of winding down my YouTube stuff, I did feel like I was able to accomplish a lot more than I ever thought I would. I also put up with a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? Like, think about it. A lot of these quote-unquote successful YouTube channels didn't have to deal with the amount of stuff and hate that I got because there's so many more YouTube channels out there doing positive Xbox stuff, so there's not that laser focus on them. When I was one of the only ones, like one of three maybe, doing positive Xbox stuff, I literally had all the pro PC channels, all the pro PlayStation channels, like exposed Crapgamer, this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? It was like everybody was on me about something or other, and so with so many people attacking constantly and stuff like that, it was kind of rough at times, so it was very difficult. But still, it's very interesting to see, how things go along. And I think it's not unusual for channels to kind of nosedive and stuff like that. And that's not to say that I'm giving up or completely or anything like that. But things happen, things change, things move on and stuff like that. I've made a lot of good friends through doing this stuff, and the plan will be to continue to kind of see what I can do. You know what I mean? And maybe turn things around. I don't know. I'll try to do what I can, and I just hope that people can kind of continue to support if they can or whatever. Like I said, the funny thing is just something as simple as like a like on a video or sharing it out could actually mean a big difference, because that's how YouTube works with their algorithms and stuff. So, it'd be nice to be able to get that kind of support and stuff like that. But it's like, I understand why people don't, man. It's like, can sometimes be a little bit of a hassle, but I would love to see like a turnaround. I think that would be great, but I'm going to keep going either way. Just I can't go as hard as I was, because obviously it's a little bit more difficult and stuff like that with getting married and all this kind of stuff. So it is very interesting to say the least or whatever. But like I said, I don't want people going and thinking that thinking that I hate Xbox or anything like that anymore. I really don't. I think they'll be fine for what they want to do. If they ever want to change or something, then hey, they're still going to continue to be fine. One thing that I actually can't wait to kind of talk about with Mooch on M&C, so you guys will probably like seeing this. Google Stadia, which, as you guys know, he's a big Google Stadia person. Well, their launch lineup has been revealed. Now, this was always a thing for me. Google Stadia is launching next week, right? And there still has not been an official launch lineup until now. So they waited till a week before launch before announcing it, and because it's launching on November 19th. For those who pre-ordered the Founders Edition, there's only 12 titles, with only one of them being a brand new game. The full lineup includes Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Destiny 2, this game called Guilt, Just Dance 2020, a game called Kine, Mortal Kombat 11, Red Dead Redemption 2, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Samurai Showdown, Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, Thumper, and Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. So, again, here's the problem with Stadia, aside from it being reliant completely on internet connections. Stadia, in my opinion, they're really kind of wanting to be your go-to for console gaming, okay? They're like, obviously, they want to take the place of the Xbox and the PlayStation and the Nintendo or whatever. And they also want to take the place of the Switch, because you can take it with you, right? So they want to take all that spots. The problem is, these games that they have announced are all games that have pretty much released years ago on other platforms. You can literally buy these games for like $10-15 on Xbox or PlayStation. And aside from that, aside from just that, but you also have to keep in mind that, these games, we don't know the cost of these games yet. Like, here we are a week away from launch, and how much is Assassin's Creed Odyssey going to cost? Is it going to be a full $60 game? Is Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition going to be a $60 game? Like, what's the prices of these things? That's going to be the real issue. That's going to be the thing that really kind of defines what's going on here. It's like, if you've already played most of these games, what's going to be the point in trying to play this game? You know what I mean? Like, that's, I think, the thing that a lot of people are going to be sort of thinking about. You know what I mean? Like, what's going to change in the future to make this a different type of situation? So that's sort of the thing that I question about Stadia. Now, again, I'm not saying that it's going to fail, but it's going to fail, okay? Like, that's my humble opinion. This is a horrible lineup. This lineup, even if you hate Xbox, makes Xbox look like the most amazing lineup of games ever, okay? Like, this lineup is literally terrible. It's probably one of the worst lineups I've ever seen in my life, okay? That's something with State. Like, I don't understand. Like, this stuff is really, really going to kind of fall pretty quickly, you know? I think that it's going to be, Rosencrantz says Stadia going to flop harder than Xbox. Listen, Who the hell? Like, I know my buds, J Dubs and Mooch are both interested in Stadia and have Founders Edition and stuff like that. But good lord, you guys have to understand, what in the world is the point of Stadia at this point, right? Old ass games. They're not very clear with their messaging. You pay a certain amount per month for the online or whatever. Um, uh, so anyway, it's like what exactly is the point? What exactly is the point of Stadia if it's just all these old games that we can play at better and more consistent frame rates and resolutions without needing an internet connection, right? Like, that's the question that I would ask. I just think that it's something that, Microsoft and of course Sony can both sort of trump Stadia with. So, hey, as you guys are in here, we're up over 100 likes. Please hit the like button, share it out. I'd appreciate it. Max Gaming says Sony has more advanced streaming tech. Stadia is crap and it's owned by Google. I agree 100%. Listen, I don't like streaming at all to begin with. I think streaming is kind of lame. But, if people want to think the whole options is good thing, I'm not going to fight that either. I think that that's fine. Rosencrantz says PS5 solid state cartridges will sell more than Stadia games. Do you think those cartridges that came out, leaked or whatever, are going to be the solid state cartridges or something else? Like, that's the question that I have. Beyond Beowulf says, imagine navigating those menus on Stadia while using a phone. Max Gaming says Stadia requires 5G for stable. PS Now requires 4G for stable. Well, damn, I guess I'm screwed either way. Listen, I don't know exactly what's going to happen with this stuff, but okay, Sonic. So there was this patent for the PS5 for cartridges. Nobody knows 100% for sure what it is yet, but some kind of cartridge. I don't get it either. Like, it'd be interesting, but I'm sure somebody probably has done a video about it or whatever. But yeah, very interesting stuff, no doubt. I would love to see exactly what comes about from this because these cartridges could definitely be, a situation where we get we get some kind of something interesting. You know what I mean? Like that we don't expect, and I think that's something that a lot of us should be sort of maybe wary of, or just sort of see what's going to come. Like, cartridges? Are you serious? Yeah, you know what I mean? Cartridges are sort of a weird thing, but again, Nintendo does them, so something definitely could be could come from this. But yeah, again, I'm gonna kind of take it with a grain of salt and see what happens. But again, it just gives you another reason to sort of look forward to what's coming with the next generation stuff, and hopefully it's good stuff because I've already kind of. Like I said, I wouldn't mind this generation to keep going on for a while because I actually think that it's been a pretty good generation overall. Yeah, there's been ups and downs, but what generation hasn't had that? The only thing that I would question is, the exclusive parts on Microsoft's front. Like, Microsoft, if they would have been able to deliver a little bit better on their exclusive front, I think that we would all have had like a much better. We would have had a much better generation. So the fact that we haven't, it kind of is what it is, but I still do have hope. And then when it comes with Stadia, I'm not so much a hater. I just don't think that there's really been tons of people asking for this stuff. It's like we've had handhelds for how long? And they even got their own exclusives and stuff. So how is Stadia going to really do anything differently, or even xCloud or anything like that? Just because, you can maybe play it on the phone a little bit. I just find it very hard to believe that it's going to be something that fantastic or amazing that's going to be able to sort of, change the game in any sort of meaningful way. But hopefully, I'm not wishing them ill or bad or anything like that. I just, personally, I don't want to see, this type of stuff take off and be a hit, because I feel like that would be a bad thing for consoles, and I prefer consoles. So hopefully we continue to get good console news and stuff like that, because that would be the ideal situation for me personally, as who knows if I'll ever have the internet to really sort of run this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Hey, don't mess with that. Leave that there. Yeah. So anyway, that's my whole point with this stuff. Now the xCloud stuff, I'm sure they're going to talk more about it. At XO, in fact they confirmed it. So they confirmed that they're going to talk more about this stuff. You just have to wonder exactly what they're going to talk about. I feel like the people that I see getting invited to this stuff are the same people that go to like the E3s and stuff like that. So take that for what it's worth. You know what I mean? Like literally, the people that I see playing this or get accepted are people that have been to E3 and like Xbox Fan Fest and stuff. So it's very, very weird to say the least. And hopefully, it's something that I hope that it's good. Like people that I've seen play it and stuff like that, they're like, oh, it plays pretty good, but there's artifacting and the screen resolution changes and gets smaller or whatever. It's like that doesn't really scream fun to me. It's like when I'm watching Netflix and other people in the house are watching Netflix and and then you get that kind of pixelated thing. That's not exactly fun. So, hey, sorry about that. I got someone here. I got the kiddo here, and he's deciding to be kind of loud. Hey, I'll be with you in a minute. Okay, let me finish up. Okay. Okay. Give me a few minutes. Okay. T-Rock says 75% of Outer Worlds sales of players on PS4 and PC. Do you think Microsoft will have the balls to make this equal exclusive? Well, listen. They were very sort of non-committal or not very, from what I understand, and if you are somebody that still watches my channel and you've seen me talk about this, at one point in time, somebody sent me a video from the head of Obsidian Entertainment, okay, talking about Outer Worlds 2 and said that they had a deal with Take-Two or whoever it was, and that the sequel would have to be multi-plat too. But then you had the Matt Booty interview where he kind of ambiguously was like, hey, that could be a game that maybe perhaps could be exclusive one day. He doesn't necessarily say a sequel, but maybe the third one or whatever. So my thing with this is Microsoft could always just go, hey, we didn't know. Turns out it has to be multi-plat. If there is a sequel to Outer Worlds, I actually am 98% sure that it would be a multi-platform game, and it would be on PlayStation as well. Why would Microsoft give up all that money for that reason? Mario Heat says, crap, how many AAA Xbox Game Studios multi-plat exclusives will we see announced at XO19? I don't know, probably at least 10. Enrico says, hey, what's up? M. Strong says, what game are you referring to? I am referring to the Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds. Dave G says, as bad as Xbox as it is for Xbox, Phil has done a really bang up job. Well, listen, Phil, I think would be a great head of EA, a great head of Ubisoft. Maybe Activision. I don't feel like he's a great head of Xbox. Max Gamer says, hey, crap. How did you think of the name Crapgamer? You suck at games or what? No. What was funny was back in 2005, I was playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 on PS2. Okay, that was my first like multiplayer, like team-based, clan-based. We had a gaming guild and stuff like that, and I thought it was funny that it would come up on the screen, killed by Crapgamer, right? And then it was just funny because as that progressed and I got into Xbox 360 and like Call of Duty and Halo and stuff like that, people like in public lobbies and stuff like that would go, man, I can't believe I got killed by someone who calls himself Crapgamer. So yeah, that was always kind of funny to me and something that I kind of poked fun of a little bit. It was always something kind of fun or whatever, just to have fun with or whatever. So yeah, that's how that came about. Nothing too exciting. Beyond Beowulf says Outer Worlds will stay multi-plat. Fearless forecast. I mean, yeah. Who's gonna win next gen? Name, but one DOA boy says who's gonna win next gen. Sony's already won, man. It's already over. Straight for. Thank you. I'll be with you in 1 second. Let Daddy finish up, okay? Yeah, I'll put on your show in 1 second, okay? He says Phil thinks Crackdown 3 is game of the year. Exciting news: Minecraft Dungeons, Battletoads, Lego Racing, Just Dance, Flight Simulator. Yeah, exactly. What if Sony hired Don Matrick? No, you know what's funny? I was talking because I'm in like a private chat group with like with the people who usually do Xbox Nation, and both J Dub and Mooch are so into Stadia, right? And I was like, you know, the guy who's leading Stadia is Phil Harrison. Phil Harrison's last like 3 ventures were the launch of the PlayStation 3, the launch of the Xbox One. He was head of the UK Xbox Game Studios when they closed down Lionhead and Press Play and most of those studios and canceled Fable, and now he's the head of Stadia. So yeah, it's a very interesting thing. You know what I mean? No, he wants to watch Paw Patrol. You know, so yeah. MJ Flicks says selling almost 50 million consoles for an American system still ain't bad, especially when everything gaming PC runs Windows. Who really want? Yeah, you know what? Listen, maybe the stuff on PC wasn't a big a deal as what a lot of people were worried about. You know what I mean? And I think that could actually be, could actually be a thing. You know, so again, it's going to be very interesting to see how this sort of plays out. I hope that they do. Hold on. Dominic says, what if Nintendo laps Xbox next gen again? I don't know how that works. Do you guys think Xbox, do you look at the Switch as this gen? Hey, get off that. You're going to hurt yourself. Yeah, I don't want you to hurt yourself. So yeah, do you guys think that the Switch is a next gen thing? So do you count that this gen, even though it's going up against the Xbox and the PS4 month to month? Like some people count it as next gen. I count it as this current stuff still. I don't know exactly. You know, some people might think it's a little bit different. Let's see. Crap. If you could erase one game from your memory to try it again like the first time, which would you choose? I would choose God of War because that was probably my all-time favorite game. That experience was something that I've not had in a long time. Yep, I'm gonna do it in 1 second, okay? Okay, you gonna say hi to people? Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
There you go. See, he wanted to say hi. But anyway, yeah, so we wanted to kind of cover that stuff and talk about it as I wrap up. I'll answer a couple more questions. Answer a couple more questions and see what's going on, and then I'll get the heck out of here. Yeah, I see that. That's pretty cool, dude. Let's see. Paw Patrol. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so as you guys see, man, I know a lot of people like to hate on me or whatever, but I'm content with stuff that's going on. You know what I mean? I got a lot of stuff going on, and listen, I kind of keep my personal life secret for a very long time, and there's not really a reason to anymore, man. I'm pretty happy with that stuff, and so hopefully I can continue and do okay with YouTube, and hopefully I can continue to just have the best of both worlds and stuff like that. So, yes, half pint, you can, yeah, yes. So, let's see. Let's see. Switch. Oh, JD Gamer says Switch. Is definitely next gen. A gen is a gen, just facts. I get it, man. If you want to consider it next gen, I think that's fine. But man, it's going to be hard to top that coming in the next gen, right? Like PS5 and Xbox Scarlet or whatever it is. Like, hey, I like the Switch, man. I think it's cool. I use it the least, though, just to be honest, even though it has some really good games. Simply put, man, it just really, the lack of achievements and stuff kind of bums me out. So yeah, that is a little bit of a problem. Even though, hey, I wanted to let everybody know, even though I'm probably not going to do Xbox Nation or anything anymore, definitely not tomorrow. I'm going to take an extended break from this stuff. I'm still going to maybe do a live show tomorrow just to cover some topics that maybe I would do during Xbox Nation. And then we'll see how that kind of goes or whatever, you know what I mean? Just kind of get that there. So if you guys are joining in, please hit the like button, share it out. I would appreciate that. You know, I got a little dog crap channel. It is what it is. I'm definitely going to be doing coverage of XO and giving my opinion on it and stuff like that. So no worries there. You know, I'm just going to continue to have fun and just kind of do my own thing. And so hopefully you guys can support that. Let your friends know, share it. If you see, the simplest way to support me, man, is just hit the like button. You know, that's all I can ask. You know, hit the bell. Hit the like button. It doesn't really cost anything, but if you want to support the channel, you can, or super chat, whatever. That's always cool and stuff like that as well. So I'm going to answer one more question and then get up out of here and take care of dad stuff. Nintendo does their own games. They come out whenever. Exactly right. Like I would assume that Nintendo just does their own thing because that's how they've always worked. I bet you Crap's Switch stays docked more often than not. I do not use my Switch undocked at all. I went on a road trip one time and used it for about 15 minutes, but it's just not my bag. How big do you really expect the XO19 to be? Will we get a new IP announcements, and will you ever go to E3 or FanFest? I always wanted to go to E3. I've gotten the general invite to E3 to attend as a journalist, quote unquote, or a YouTuber influencer, but I've never even I've never went because just going, I don't fly, so going Florida to the California and then being able to stay there and get back or whatever, I think it's kind of difficult or whatever. Did I like the new Sonic design? I actually do like it. Yeah, give me a good thumbing. I would appreciate that. Thumbings are always welcome. I actually like the new Sonic design. It looks much better, a lot less creepy. So I think they did a good job fixing that. That's one of the things that I thought they did do a really good job. Internet Junk, I linked it below. The sales were 46.9 million, so almost 47 million as of Q2 of this year. So yeah, that's very, very cool. Very interesting to see as well. And again, I really appreciate you guys. Hey, I don't see Helmer very often, man. We don't live together anymore. You know, he works a tough schedule or whatever, but I will say hi next time I see him. Make sure you guys give it a like, share, all that kind of stuff if you haven't already done so. I'm going to be back probably tomorrow. Until then, we'll catch you guys later. I got some stuff I got to do. Peace out. I hope you guys all have a great day. Rack 'em up. Peace.